window instead of looking in that mirror. A certain amount of what comes out of you is just exploration, you know.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Eyes to Us podcast. Today, I'm really excited about this conversation because it's always been something that's been going on my mind and on my head too. But I knew I couldn't do this episode alone. So I brought it's a tailored guest for this episode. I couldn't have a better guess. So, but quickly, I want to tell you why I wanted to do this episode. See, like I mentioned before, I was adopted from Haiti, Port-au-Prince, and when I was adopted, I was weighing only 16 pounds at 16 months. And that affected my body and also affected my hair growth. I was malnourished, and when I arrived in Canada, my hair was ginger. It was copper. And throughout growing up, I always had really thick curls, really tight, thick curls, curly, black curls. And I love my hair, but I felt like very limited. I felt very limited on what I could do. And also, I didn't like how different it was. And when people saw my hair, they always wanted to touch it, right? Because I was one of the only minority in town. And for me, I didn't know at the time that it was weird. So I would just let people touch my hair. But it's when I was about, let's say, 10, 12 years old that I was able to finally add a little bit of diversity to my hair and do some cornrows. So my mom spotted someone in town that she was a hairdresser, and she was also African American, and she was able to do some cornrows for a good price. So I was able to experience cornrows for the first time in my life, but they were painful. So that's why I was pretty limited too. So after a little bit in high school, I stopped really maintaining them, and I just let them grow freely naturally. So I had really thick natural curls, by which I was losing a lot of my hair, and that was making my dad really mad because of I was clogging the drains. Um, so I was really when I was living at home, I was really limited to keeping my hair a certain length. So it's when I was in university that I was able to experience different hairstyle and let it grow. So I was able to get the French braid, the French square braid, like ASAP Rocky, you could say, and like I thought that was dope. I was pulling it off. It's just I didn't have enough hair, and then my next conquest was getting some dreads. So when I moved to Montreal, I was able to finally get some dreads, but they were quite expensive. So I got some dreads, but that's where I understood that I would also be limited to what I could do because of my hair. There was a stunt in some areas of my there was a growth stunt in some areas of my scalp, and that was there since the beginning, since I was young. So I took a very serious decision a few years ago to go on and cut my dreads. They were my pride and they were my joy, but I cut my dread, and at first I took it hard. I was like I had created this persona that was giving me strength, Dre like the legend. Dre like the legend had dreads. I started with dreads, and then I had to go through a really self-reflective phase, and that led me to really accept truly who I was and in any shape or forms. So I let my hair grow and naturally, and they got beautiful. I got I got really a nice thick hair growth, and I the same growth, hair stunt area uh, happened again, and that's where I wanted to start my business as an inspirational speaker, and I wanted people to identify me as someone. I didn't want to change my appearance every 6 months, so I had to take a decision and see where I wanted to start and how I wanted people to see me from the beginning. So I went on and cut my hair. At first I took it hard because the thing is, when I grew up I was picked on because I had a small head and people was calling me Kiwi, and I freaking hated it. But then I was able to understand, it's like I didn't see myself like that. So I understood that, like, yes, sometimes I may feel confused, or I might have some self-doubt about my appearances, but essentially that might be superficial. It's all how I feel inside and how I see myself. But I wanted to make this episode because I had a lot of friends, and I'm sure our guests can relate to a lot, that had their haircut, and when they were sitting there and after they got their haircut, it was really not what they anticipated or what they asked. And from there, it changed their behaviors in public. They might be more isolating, or they might be changing their approach. They might be feeling less confident. So this episode today, we'll talk about the many ways that your hairstyle can affect your mental wealth. And I would like to introduce our guest today. Our guest is Melissa Ferguson. She is a seasoned hair loss and extension specialist with over a decade of hands-on industry experience. While she still works with select clients in her chair, Melissa is now shifting the majority of her focus into consulting, empowering other hairstyles to strengthen their marketing, set clearer boundaries, and increase their income sustainably. Her unique approach blends the technique expertise with mindset coaching, helping beauty professionals build not just better businesses, but better lives. Melissa believes deeply in the connection between hair, confidence, and mental well-being. So help me welcome our very special guest, Melissa Ferguson.
Thanks for having me. So
Thank you.
it's all about the power connection, right? And you are only as powerful and productive as you actually look or feel, right? Like we wake up, we look at ourselves in the mirror every single day, and when we're not having a great day, often our appearance can reflect that, right? Like when we look good, we feel good, and when we feel good, we look good. So they go hand in hand.
Yes, I agree with that. So how did you find how did the hairstyling came into your mind? What age would you say you started getting interested into that?
Honestly, I don't even know. Like ever since I was a teenager, like I took a cosmetology program in school. But like every other hairstylist in the industry, my parents told me this would not be a viable career, that I would never make any money, I'd never be able to do anything. And I make a really good income now. After I went through, the hoops and loops of trying to appease mom and dad, I took a couple different other programs. I did social work, and I did some early childhood education and interior design, and it just didn't bring me joy. And I would say I was very meek. I had a lot of social anxiety, and it was funny when I finally made the decision to go into hair school. It was because a coworker of mine also was taking the program. So I was like, oh, we can go together. And it's funny because I think I am like one of the 2 out of 40 people in our class that are actually still in the industry, because it's a really hard industry to kind of make it in. But it's taught me a lot of people skills. It's taught me a lot of business skills, a lot of just, we are the only industry out here that literally has to have all of these soft selling skills with all of these hard actionable business skills. And then we also have to have the human psychology component, right? Because we are almost, in a sense, like a bartender. People come to us not only for their physical problems, but we have the most intimate knowledge about our clients. Like I know when, somebody's husband has betrayed them. I know when their mother is dying. I know when, they've lost a child. Like I am there with them through these horrible experiences, and also through some of the best, right? The days, where they have a baby, they get married, so it's a really interesting profession that is, honestly, it's been a rocky road to get to where I am, but I can't see it being any other way at this point.
Wow, you're like part-time therapist.
Honestly, yeah. Like I've taken NLP certifications. I've taken a lot of psychology classes because at the end of the day, it's not just about vanity, right? Like you are empowering people to live their best lives, and people are like, oh, I can't believe you would pay that much for hair. It's not just the hair though. It's not the vanity, right? Like you said it yourself. It's
Exactly.
about the way that you feel in your own skin.
So was there like where it started to the interest for you to start to link both of them, consulting and your styling? Because you're
Yeah.
there, you're helping people with basically their everyday life and you're hearing people's problems. So you're like, I'm doing both right now. So
Hmm.
how did you find that connection?
So that's also an interesting story. Obviously, the last 5, 6, 7 years, whenever COVID even started, came into play. I had to do some really creative pivoting in my business because I wasn't allowed to operate, right? So that just basically cut off my income stream. I had spent, by this point in time, probably 7 years learning how to obviously do amazing hair, but also become a business owner. And I had gone through the highs and lows and the income hurdles and all that jazz. And as much as I love supporting my clients, and I've even gotten into like more of that specializing because I want to help more, I guess, challenging based problems for my clients, I realized that, there's so many industry professionals that are here and they're struggling because they are burning themselves into the ground again, right? Like we are a soft skills business, but we're also physically doing labor, right? Like we're on our feet all day long. We are physically holding our arms up all day long. We don't take, designated breaks during our day. We don't eat. Like the typical hairdresser diet is cigarettes and coffee. And it's statistically proven that a lot of people in our industry actually have a lot of substance abuse problems because they're literally on autopilot and they get to a point where it's like it's survival, right? And
Yeah.
that pours down onto our clients too. And you go to a hairstylist who's not, the best version of herself. You, as the client who's also going through your mental health challenges, are absorbing your hairstylist mental health problems. So it's like a big ecosystem. So I think fix always needs to start at the top, and education always needs to start at the top because it trickles down just like a waterfall.
It does. And when did you start to have like this turning? Because you're there, you're taking your own journey, you're taking your own path, and there must be something in your mind that was like, this is not working. Why is everyone
Hmm.
doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I've always had business coaches ever since I went out on my own. Rocky start in the industry, worked for some really shitty salon owners, and then I found an amazing one, and I realized everything that she did was about mentorship, and everything she did was about pouring into her staff. And when I left there, it was a whole new challenge of treading water and figuring out. Like I had mastered the technical skill, but I had no idea what I was doing as a business owner. So we kind of went through this rocky wave of 2 or 3 years of just, trying to figure it out. And then once I finally figured it out, the world's pandemic just kind of like shut me down.
Mm.
Um, I actually went bankrupt. I lost my house. I lost everything in the middle of COVID because I wasn't allowed to be open for 15 months. I think at that time, I had 6 or 7 staff working for me. I really enjoyed mentorship though. And I was like, you know what? I can make a bigger impact on the industry and I can make a bigger impact on more clients, right? When I do one-to-one work, yes, I can help one person, but if I could help, a dozen hairdressers who that can help a dozen clients, at the end of the day, it just leaves a larger like turning point. So I don't really know if there was like a specific like aha moment or anything, but it's kind of been leading to that. And also the burnout on my body as a hairstylist, like it is real. Like we are on our feet 40 hours a day, not eating, not, consuming a lunch. So I think just through owning the business, realizing that mentorship is really where I want to be because I think I can make a bigger impact that way.
I do believe that it's so hard on your body.
Hmm.
Yeah. You must, because sometimes I just see when I go get my hair cut, some people, some hairstylers or hairdressers don't wear anything. It's just regular shoes. So I couldn't imagine being like maybe some wearing heels all day. I couldn't imagine that wearing
Yeah.
heels all day. Getting back to your experience as a hairdresser,
Hmm.
how do people typically feel after a haircut or style change?
Well, I think it depends on how the experience in the salon goes. Because I've seen it go both ways, right? Like I've had staff work for me and I've had new staff work for me. As long as the experience goes amazing, you watch that person walk out with a sense of empowerment. The other side is if the experience goes okay, not amazing, but not horribly, they still walk out feeling empowered, because it's not like, yes, it is about the hair, but it's also about the way that people made them feel in the process, right? Like just even going past the vanity aspect, right? It's about taking the time to take care of yourself. And we are in such a busy world these days that, like, between kids, work, life, like there's always a million things coming at you. And to dedicate that 20 minutes that is for you, like once a month if you're a guy, you know, every 2-3 months if you're a woman, like taking that 20 minutes and just like sitting down and being like, you know what, this is my time. Like it is going to leave you walking out with a sense of empowerment, right? Like you're going to feel better. You're going to feel fresher. Like it's like putting on a pair of, you know, new jeans when you're like, oh, my butt looks good in this, right? Like when you look good, you feel good.
So your hairstyle does have an influence on your self-confidence and your self-worth, you'd say.
100%.
Good. I can totally relate to that.
Yeah.
And sometimes I see people with like really creative hairstyle. I'm like, hey, he's like, sometimes it's like not even the hairstyle. The hairstyle is not something that you would necessarily like prefer or something like that, but it's just the confidence that person has it and they're pulling it off, you know. Just they're embodying the hairstyle, you know. The hairstyle is not making them, you know, they're making the hairstyle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And some people can pull off some wicked cool stuff. Like I've seen some really fun stuff over the years and I'm like, I'd never be able to rock that, but like that looks amazing on you. Like you wouldn't even like understand some of the weird requests I've had over the years.
Have you ever had someone that had a hairstyle? I don't know if you did that to them or you've heard a story, but they had a hair change and from there it led them to make drastic decision about their life.
Yeah, I actually have a really cool story. So when I first moved into my brand new suite, I was like, I don't have any clients. And the bank was literally like, I don't know, 2-minute walk down the road. And I'd go in there every day and there was a homeless man that would sleep inside of the unit. Okay. And one morning I was like, you know what? I don't have any clients. You want a haircut? Like, just come on over. I'm going to give you a fresh haircut. So I brought this homeless man into my studio. I gave him a fresh haircut. About 4 days later, he came back to me and said, you know what? I went out and got a job. And like, it still makes me emotional because I'm like that, you know, that 20 minutes that I gave this guy changed his freaking life. Right? Because he's like, I finally felt clean enough that I could walk into somewhere and be like, hey, I'm qualified to work. Right? And that's the thing, right? Like it can change somebody's life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wow. This is
Yeah. I always try and do some pay it forward haircuts every couple months when I have a little bit extra time because I'm like, it really can. There are some people that they can barely afford food, much less you know, that moment for themselves, right? So it can just be that boost to realize that, you know what, like I'm gonna be okay. I have the confidence, right? And I always try and work with people too, like from that more mindset type coaching too, when I'm cutting their hair of like, you know, you can do anything, right? And obviously you got to find the right person and all that jazz, but like even just that motivational moment of 20 minutes to yourself, realizing that you're taking care of yourself, you can walk out and realize, you know, if I put 20 minutes of solid action into my goals, I'm going to get where I need to go. Right. So, and there's so many women that are pouring so deeply into their children. And like, I do work typically more with women, but women pour so deeply into their husbands, into their work, into their kids that like when you're pouring from an empty cup, there's nothing left. Right. So taking that time and doing something for yourself, whether it be your hair, your nails, you know, your lashes, go and get a massage, like that can be a huge turning point for some people.
So how do you help someone to pick a hairstyle that's going to make them feel good inside and out?
Yeah. So I think it really comes down to open and honest communication with somebody. Because sometimes people come in with these like inspiration type photos and they're like, this is what I want, but it could be super unrealistic, or maybe it's not going to work for their lifestyle. The maintenance might be too expensive, that type of stuff. So I think it's really important for the hairdresser to take a holistic look at what's actually happening in their life, right? So like for example, if a woman comes in, they have extremely dark hair, they're like, I want to be platinum blonde, but she doesn't have the budget to come back and maintain it like every 2 to 3 weeks kind of thing, like with that like solid white, that's not going to work for her. Then she's going to end up with like these massive grown out roots. She's going to end up hating her hair's probably going to get damaged in the process of even trying to go light. So I think it's
Yeah.
really, really important to take a look at, the financial commitment. Are you active? Do you wear your hair up and down a lot? Do you wash your hair? Like, are you somebody that's going to actually style your hair? Because if you give somebody the wrong hairstyle too, that can also cause the reverse effects too, right? Because then they're going to feel
It's
deflated after 2 weeks.
yeah. That's gonna lead
Yeah.
me to my next question. Like, can a new hairstyle make someone feel worse instead of better?
Yeah, I think so. Again, like,
Yeah.
I mean, can you go out and buy a pair of shoes that you thought would be great and then they hurt your feet? Like, it's gonna make your life uncomfortable. Same concept,
Mm.
right? Like, yeah, I think it's really, really important to find a hairdresser that's going to be honest with you and not just
Mm.
gonna take your money, right? Like, it's your identity. Your hair is literally the first thing that people see when you walk into the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. And as identity, does being creative with your hairstyle affect your mental and emotional health? Because I've for me, it's when I was able to finally have dreads. I've always wanted dreads. The only dreads that I saw was on TV. Like, I grew up in a place where there's not a lot of people that had dreads, and it's finally when I was like, it was at first it was not what I thought it was gonna be. It's a lot of maintenance, and it's
Mm-hmm.
also, it didn't look the way that it looked at first. It was all different, and it was my
Yeah.
first experience. But from there, that started that helped me see the world a different way. And also, like, I didn't see myself the same way too, so I was like, this guy can do anything, and for some
Yeah.
reason, I don't know why. So I was wondering, that can being creative with your hairstyle influence your mental and emotional health?
Yeah, I think so. And I actually do a lot of locks too. I actually just pulled mine out.
You did?
So that's a whole other conversation. We'll go down that rabbit trail another day.
Yeah.
But 100%, like, I think, again, it comes to communication, right? Because you went in for something and maybe that stylist did not communicate to you like the realm of like what you were actually signing up for.
Yeah.
I think, again, it comes down to like, if you are the person that wants to try new things, that's 100% like, it's fun, right? Like, it's like changing your shirt, right? You can 100% have 75 different hairstyles in your lifetime, and that's totally okay. I think it comes down to like, knowing who you are as a person, knowing, am I somebody that is like bright and flashy? Do I like to wear neon colors? Do I want to like stand out in the crowd? Do I want to have that like peacock vibe where like I walk in the room and everyone looks at me? With that factor too, do I have the ability to maintain what I am trying to do? Or am I looking for something more on the semi-permanent side? Because like there's so many different options, right? And I
There
think
is.
too, the thing too, and I think where our industry is lacking, and this is where I educate a lot, is not everybody can have everything. And sometimes people will overpromise because they want to make the client happy. But when you're setting these false expectations, the client is going to leave feeling deflated. If somebody is suffering from, hair loss or scalp conditions or things like that, sometimes it's okay to step back and say, hey, I know you want this, but let's resolve the situation of hair loss first. Because like if you were experiencing extreme shedding, there were so many things that people could have done to potentially help you along the way. And I mean, obviously, science is growing, like things like red light therapy. Like there are so many like core foundations that should have been addressed first before they put those locks in. Because if they had have addressed that, you might still have your locks today, right? But if the issue was like you're shedding and you're not sure if there's like safe foundation, like I think it's really important when you're building a building, you're not going to start at the top, right? You're going to start by building the basement and the foundation. And I think that it's really important for people to have a solid understanding of like, if I do this, this is going to happen. Or if I do this, this is going to happen, because it's not just a haircut. You're not just coming in for a fresh clean. Like when you're looking to do something extreme and there's commitment, like yes, hair grows back. It's not as permanent as a tattoo or something like that, but you can actually cause long-term damage. You can, like I've seen women over the years, they've come in for like bleach outs and things like that. And now 15 years later, their hair is falling out because it's been over compromised. So I think it's really important to find professionals that are going to be honest and real and start at the base level.
Oh, I wish I had known that a long time ago.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm like, we can chat more about your hair specifically later because there may still be things that I can do to help you, but that the problem is lack of education, right? Or lack of stylists maybe like updating their skill sets. And our industry is one of the fastest changing industries out there. Like there is constantly new things. We're actually like super connected to China and people don't realize it. Like all of our stuff comes from China. Obviously, this is all being affected in this whole trade war situation that's going on. But now that the internet is a thing, I think it's so much easier for stylists to stay up to date on the information. Whereas, 20 years ago, we all had the picture book that they'd leave in the waiting room. And it was like, that was your source of education unless you were spending classes. So I think the industry is shifting, and I think there is going to be a lot more support available to people like you in the future, as long as the hairdressers are willing to consistently invest in themselves, right? The more you pour into yourself, the more you can pour into others. And again, it's that trickle reciprocity effect that's going back into your clients.
I'm just trying to process what you just said.
I was going to say, I know that was a lot of information.
It was great. It's great because you're not just speaking to me, you're speaking to a lot of people out there that's going to help. That's really going to help them adapt a bit of perspective. So back to your business. How do you manage running your business and also being emotionally present with your clients?
Well, some days I am just walking, talking ninja. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It's taken a lot of years of personal development. I read a lot of books, like a lot of books. Like I do. Like there's like 17 different books upside down around my house, like all the time. And I think personal development is the literal most important thing that any single person on this planet can do. And we are in a world where like we're blessed. We've got podcasts like this one, we've got YouTube channels, we've got books. Like there's literally no reason that you cannot evolve your life. I do a lot of time blocking, and honestly, I take personal time now. Like I used to be like, oh, I'm a ninja. I work 40 hours a week. If I don't want to work, I am going to time block. I am going to reschedule something. I am going to commit to my own inner peace because I know I cannot help you if I don't take care of me first. Getting over the point of like, I feel selfish for taking care of me. No, like there are some days that I come out of that salon and I just meld into the couch and I'm like, do not talk to me. Like sometimes it's like my kids will come up and they're like, mom, mom, mom. And I'm like, mom needs 5 minutes. Like just go find your dad. Like I need 5 minutes. I do not deal with clients that don't align with me anymore. I will make a referral. I will always make sure that you're supported. But like, if it's not a good fit, I'm not going to deal with you anymore. And I used to be in the state where I would take every single client. I would take every request. Like I specialize, I niche down. I know what I'm good at. I know where I can bring impact. And I will refer out. And that was a really, really large cornerstone of my career too. Like I am expensive and I know I'm expensive and I work with a certain type of client because I deliver a certain type of result. So I think that really has kind of committed to my inner peace. And I like to sleep in Saturday mornings. I don't work Saturday mornings anymore. Like we used to work all day Saturday in our industry. I work 3 to 7 p.m. Saturdays. That's it. You want an after hours appointment, you're going to pay me extra.
You found your work-life balance.
Yeah. It's challenging because the studio's in my house. So like I there's hair crap throughout my entire house. So like, but at the same time, I'm also like, I don't think it's about per se separating the two, but also realizing when it's okay to say no. Right? Or like realizing, hey, you know what? If my kid wants to be in the salon with me today, that client is going to have to deal with it because this is the vibe that we've got going on here. Like I set the rules. This is my space. You follow my rules. And I know that sounds like egotistical, but at the same time, I can't deliver what you need if I am not 100% like in my zone of genius.
Yeah. I really appreciate that wisdom.
Yeah.
I really do. Just to wrap it up, a couple of questions. What would you say to someone who's currently struggling with their hair looks or how they feel about themselves?
Okay, well, I think that's two very different things. Like I think if you're struggling with your whole like how you feel about yourself as a human, I think obviously you need to work on yourself as a human, right? And I'm talking personal development, clean eating, going to the gym, just like making time for you, like doing the things that you say you want to and then you push off and never actually do. Like commit to the words that you say. If you want to feel better about yourself, it comes to looking better, eating better, drinking more water, not smoking, not putting drugs in your system, getting a good night's sleep. I think that is like cornerstone number one. And then I think when it comes to like your hair specifically, being real and raw and like interviewing multiple stylists that you're going to work with, right? It's not just to like go book something off an online booking site, like go have some consultations done. You wouldn't have a random, Joe Blow Kijiji contractor come into your house and just like knock down your frame without interviewing them. Like people seem to think that hairdressers are like factory units and it's like, oh, what's your price list? Well, my price is different for every single person because it is a customized experience to you. And the customer should be doing the same thing. Like they need to find the right experience for themselves. There's so many amazing hairdressers out there. There's so many different experiences. Like if you're somebody that's just like, I want a quick trim, I don't really care that much. Like, yeah, we have our chains. If you're like, I need that relaxation aspect, you have, those bougie salons and spas. If you're like, I need high level specialty, I'm losing my hair, you got to find a hair loss specialist, right? There's different tiers and different levels. And it's going to be one of those things like you get what you pay for and you get what you research. If you don't do the research, you could end up with a bad experience.
Yeah. I did. So quickly, what's your next thing, and how can people find you?
So, honestly, I'm going through a little bit of a midlife crisis. So my next thing, I don't know yet. I've got a little locational situation going on. So we're navigating through that, trying to figure out what's the next step, if we're going into expansion or if we're going mobile or what we're doing. But my biggest thing is continuing to work on education. Like that is probably one of my cornerstone pieces right now. I'm probably going to shift about 70% of my effort into educating other stylists. I find specifically out here in New Brunswick, Canada, there is a lack of education when it comes to hair loss. And I don't think it's the hairdresser's fault. I think it's the industry's fault for not providing the information from the foundational point, like the school. So I'm looking into what that could look like and how to set that up, whether we go physical or virtual or what. We're sitting through some self-care reflection time at this point.
Yeah, transition phase.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good. I'm happy to hear it. Do you have a website?
I do. So it's www.balancedhair.com. It's .com or .ca. I think it's .com.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
then I'm probably
also reach you.
Yeah, I'm probably most active on Facebook.
Okay.
So if you are a hairstylist listening to this, you want to check out the Balanced Hairstylist on Facebook or IG. And if you are looking for hair loss support or extension support, you want to check out Balanced Hair.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And one last question. What is the eyes to us to you?
What do you mean?
The Eyes to Us podcast. The Eyes to Us.
Well, I think it's a collection of mindset, lifestyle, wisdom, like positive energy. I think it's a space where you're able to reflect on yourself, reflect on the world around you. Like from what I've listened to, because I checked out your last episode with Vibrant Life and Alex, I think it's a space that's focused on helping people, really. And I think it's up to the user and the listener to really make a decision for themselves what it means, because I think it could be interpreted in so many different ways.
It can, definitely.
Yeah.
There's so many entendres.
Yeah. This was really fun. It was really cool.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I would love to have you on for another episode.
Awesome. I look forward to coming back.
That's great. Thank you very much for your wisdom, Melissa.
Thanks for having me.
And I also be posting all the links to find you on the show notes.
Perfect.
So that is a wrap for today's episode about if your hairstyle can influence your mental health. Today we were able to speak and discuss the ways your hairstyle can influence your mental health, the way your hairdresser can help you making mindful decision on the way you look, and the different tools and places you can find resources in order to make the right decision when you're making an hairstyle. I hope today was able to give you a better perspective with our guest Melissa Ferguson. It was a blast. I'm really excited. I'm really excited for you to hear some more. So stay tuned. You can find us on the social at One Eye to Us. And also you can find more information about my coaching services on www.drazamore.com and A to Z Living. This was a blast, and I just wanna leave you with this. Remember, stay evolving, stay at peace, and what is to us is all up to us. Thank you, Melissa.
Thanks again.
Just walking around trying to think up stuff. And there are no physical parts. You're just trying to grab something out of the air. An idea or... and then you realize that a lot of it's just trying to solve the riddle of life.